All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What is going on, YouTube? We're back with the Saturday, October 21st edition of the NHL Quick Hit video here. Going to try and keep this to 30 minutes or so for you. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you guys are just joining. It helps us out a ton. And in the comments section below, drop your favorite stacks, your favorite goalies, your favorite thing about NHL DFS, your favorite thing about SHIPIT Nation. We will look back at those for future giveaways right here on that channel. We're making a tour for 4 here on 4,000 subscribers right here on this channel. If you guys good, like I said, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. Again, as always, these shows are brought to you by SHIPITNation.com. Head over to SHIPITNation.com. Use code NBA10. NBA obviously starts here in just a couple days. Tuesday, I believe, is the opening night with the little 2-gamer. Get back to a full slate then mid-next week. Obviously got everything going on. MMA, huge MMA card going on today. Our guys Title and Marley had you covered on that. NFL, Title continues to print. Tambo, Hoop, the whole team over here. We all continue to crush NFL streets. But NBA, big things coming. These projections, these tools, everything we have over here at SHIPITNation.com going to be absolutely incredible. And you see, we cover every sport there. MMA, NHL, NBA, NFL, MLB playoffs, PGA, I mean, you name it, we have it over here. Use code NBA10, get you 10% off monthly membership, yearly membership, whatever package for life, not just the first month. So get you locked in there for the cheapest all-in rate in the industry for the best content, best tools, best projections in my mind there. But we have a whopping 13-game NHL slate tonight. Nice prize pools. DraftKings is finally keeping these NHL prize pools pretty decent. I know some there's a lot of new folks over here jumping in the streets. If you guys are just the YouTube viewers, I appreciate you as well. But let's get after it here tonight. We're going to do kind of the same structure that I did the last show. These bigger slates, I'm going to go my favorite stacks, my favorite 5 or 6 stacks, my favorite goalies, then some value plays. And then, as always, my slate plan, my final core plays, things like that will be updated on SHIPITNation.com along with our matchup sheet. So just looking at this slate as a whole, kind of as a 30,000 feet overview, we're looking at, like I said, 13 games. We got 2 7 totals on the board. The Jets and the Oilers have a 7 total, and then Toronto and Tampa, which should be a crazy game there, has a 7 implied total. A lot of 6.5s, and then a couple 6 totals. Rangers, Kraken is a 6 total. Hurricane in Colorado is a 6 total. Vegas, Chicago, Sharks, the Predators, and then the Flyers and the Stars is also 6 total. Everything else, 6.5 total on the slate. Looking at some of the teams with the highest implied goal totals right now as it sits at about mid-afternoon here. Minnesota sitting at 4.5. Stars sitting right underneath them, right around 4.4 goals. Predators sitting at 4.2. The Vegas Knights, 4.2. Edmonton, right around 4.2 as well. Toronto, right around 4. Some of the lowest teams on the slate, San Jose sitting right around 2. Blackhawks right around 2. Columbus right around 2.3, and then the Hurricanes sitting at 2.7, kind of how the slate shapes out right now. Jumping into to my first favorite stack on this slate, one of my favorite stacks. I'm going to Florida here. Looking at the numbers, looking at my matchup sheet for this season, which I have transitioned over. Did not take home and road splits yet, as the sample size is too small. But these teams do have 3, 4. Some of them have 5 games in on the year. So I switched over to look at this year's numbers. The Panthers have been the third best offense in the league, averaging 3.7 goals per game. Expected goals are higher than that as well, sitting right around 3.9. Have the most shots on net per game in the league on average, almost nearly 40 shots on net. They're drawing a lot of high danger chances as well. So I love the Florida. I absolutely love Florida here against Vancouver. I think Florida hangs a big number on these guys personally. Vancouver here. You can't go wrong with any. Florida has won the last 2 matchups here against Vancouver. Last matchup 4-3 at home, and then the game before that in Vancouver they hung 5. So I see another 4 to 5 goal. 4 to 5 goal overview here for Florida. I don't think you can go wrong with any line from Florida. But personally, I'm kind of looking at the power play here, the top power play. They haven't been the greatest, 11% cash-in rate on the year, but looking at the Vancouver penalty kill, so right around 72% penalty kill, and give up the 5th most chances in the league, sitting right around 4.5 penalty per game. So give me this top power play in Matthew Tkachuk, Barkov, Sam Reinhart. Evan Rodriguez is a nice value play at 4,600. He's skating on that top line with Barkov and Sam Reinhart there. And on that top power play as well, averaging 4 shots on goal per game. I like him quite a bit at 4,600. Nice, very nice value play there. And Oliver Ekman-Larsson continues to be too cheap. Coming off a goal and 5 blocks last game, absolutely dusted the slate at 2,300, 3,700. He scored 23 DraftKings points. He's up to 4,200, but man, the dude is playing over 25 minutes a game. He's running point on that top power play. So give me Oliver Ekman-Larsson here at just 4,200. That's still way too cheap for him. Very good D-men there. Very offensive D-minded. Offensive-minded D-men as well. Right around 3 shots per game over his last 5 games so far. So love this top power play for Florida as well. In terms of some of the value plays, Anton Lundell down on that third line, 3,400. Don't love it a ton. He just hasn't been very active this season. So mainly I would stick to these top 2 lines personally for Florida. Carter Verhaeghe, E2, Matthew Tkachuk, and then obviously that top line there in Barkov, Rodriguez, and Sam Reinhart. That's definitely my preferred. That's definitely going to be the more popular line. I do expect Florida to get some ownership on the slate. Probably one of the chalkiest teams, but there's definitely ways to get different. Play lower owned goalie, lower owned secondary piece, stack Bobrovsky with the Florida stack at 8,200. In that, I typically like to do that quite a bit. Stack my goalie with either my 3 or my 4-man stack, because you're already betting on them to score goals. Just kind of naturally correlates there with your goalie as well if you can make it work. So love Florida here. One of my favorite stacks on the board. Focused on that top power play. And then Rodriguez there, Evan Rodriguez, very nice value play at 4,600, along with Oliver Ekman-Larsson as the D-man. 2 value plays there to make the stack a little bit cheaper. We have to go back to it. We have to talk about Edmonton each and every time they're on the slate. I mean, it's hard to ignore. They're out there later game this evening, sitting at home, 7 implied over under in this game. They're implied to score over 4 goals. They've been the 2nd best offense in the league, averaging right around 4 goals. Expected goals for, same thing right there. 4th best power play in the league, cashing in over 30%. Now face a penalty kill that's sitting right around 70% penalty kill. They give up over 4 chances per game in Winnipeg there. The only worry that I do have is it does look like Hellebuck is going to be in that. I have a lot of faith in Hellebuck. I think he's a very good goalie, but he did just give up 5 goals to the Kings. Hasn't had the greatest success against Edmonton here either. Gave up 5 goals last time against Edmonton for the game before that. So I love Edmonton here. I think Edmonton absolutely pounds the brakes off of Winnipeg here. They are expensive. They're very expensive, but McDavid coming off a 4-1 loss to Philly. These guys are going to be hungry. Edmonton's going to come out here. They're at home. I think they absolutely smashed this team. Again, they're 1-3 to start the year. The only win was there in Nashville when they laid the beating down, but lost to Philly last game. That was an embarrassing loss. So give me this top power play for Edmonton. Absolutely love them here tonight if you can afford them. Connor McDavid, obviously you can play him each and every slate. He's 9,900, very expensive there. Doesn't have the greatest success against Winnipeg in his history either, but you can play this guy each and every slate. Leon had a down game last game, but started the year absolutely on fire, and he has absolutely owned Winnipeg in his past. So comparing Leon and Connor McDavid, give me the $1,000 discount off of McDavid, and Leon is definitely my preferred between the two. 45 and 30 DraftKings points in his last 2 games against Winnipeg. Absolutely love Leon here, 8,900. Think he bounces back in a big way too after a letdown against Philly last game. Zach Hyman, 6,500. Going to skate next to McDavid and Leon on that top line, top power play as well. He's just 6,500, has been very consistent on the year, averaging right around 4 shots per game. Going to play 18 to 20 minutes. I think he's an excellent play as well. Evan Bouchard, don't love his price point at 6,300, but he is on that top power play, a little correlation there. So you can definitely throw him in there. And then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I love Ryan Nugent-Hopkins here. Going to center that top power play as well alongside McDavid. Skates on the second line on full strength, but he's 6,200 versus 9,900 off of McDavid. That's one way to get a little bit different is leave McDavid off your power play stack. Go Hyman, Leon, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. If you want to throw Bouchard in there, you can. If you can afford McDavid, you could throw him in there. But just that 3-man, little cheaper power play stack, going to get some ownership here. But I'm not seeing Edmonton come with a ton of ownership personally in this spot due to the price points. So I do like this top power play a lot for Edmonton. Looking at some of these other guys, not a ton of interest in any of these other depth guys. Personally, there is one value guy I do like for Edmonton, Matthias Ekholm, D-man, 3,400, running that second power play unit, averages over 2 shots per game. Just 3,400 for him. He's going to block a couple shots too. So don't think he's the worst play by any means. But overall, not a ton of interest in these other guys here. Evander Kane, I guess you could play down on that third line. His price point has dropped all the way to 5,400. Think he's fine. Last game, he had 5 shots on goal. So you can definitely see him be hungry. I like third liners a little bit more at home. Going to run some second power play time as well. So Evander Kane, I guess, would be my favorite depth line guy personally in this spot. Not going to mess with any of these Warren Fogels, CCs, Kulaks, any of those guys. So mainly top power play for me for Edmonton, and then Evander Kane and Ekholm as some of the depth guys is who I'm looking at. Next game, one of my favorite spots on the slate here is Buffalo here at home. I love the Sabres here at home against the Islanders. Islanders historically been looked at as a very good defensive hockey team. Islanders are also coming in off a back-to-back with travel heading into Buffalo. So for any bettors out there, grab that Sabres first period puck line and the first period total over in goals. Pair those both together. Those both should do pretty well in terms of bets here. I always love targeting teams on a back-to-back with travel here. And we're going to see the backup tender. We're probably going to see Varlamov in that, I believe, for New York here because Sorokin went last night on the back-to-back here. Varlamov did have a 33 save 33 save loss last time against Buffalo. Time before that was very good. So he had very good success overall. But, man, with travel back-to-back this early in the season, and Buffalo's been very good. Looking at the unblocked shot attempts for in the league right now, Buffalo line 1 is top half of the league, 30 shots on net that were unblocked and only 1 goal. So I expect a lot of positive regression coming from Buffalo top line right now tonight here. So I love Tage Thompson here. I love Jeff Skinner and Alex Tuch. Love those 3. Give me those 3. I know they don't skate together, but they do share power play time together. Alex Tuch, Skinner, and Tage Thompson. Love those 3 together. Gives you top power play correlation. And Skinner and Tuch skate together on full strength with Casey Middlestad, who's a very, very nice value center on this slate. And then Dylan Cousins. You can always add Dylan Cousins in. So those 5 are definitely my preferred. And then Rasmus Dahlin, you can definitely include him. 6,600 as a D-man, 16, 12, 19 in his last 3 games. I'm going to play 25 to 26 minutes as a D-man, 6,600, running point on that top power play. So I love Buffalo here tonight. Looking at this season's numbers, Buffalo's been very good. I mean, 7th best offense in the league, but they're facing the 3rd worst defense. Islanders allowing 3.5 or 3.75 goals per game. Expected goals is even worse than that. The worst in the league at 3.9 expected goals against. And they allow the 2nd most high danger chances in the league. So love full strength Buffalo here. The Islanders, where they have been very good, is number 1, limiting penalties. They're 2nd best defense in the league in limited penalties or getting penalized. And they have the best penalty kill. Obviously, those typically go hand in hand. The less chances you get, the more chances you have to kind of have a great penalty kill just from a sample size standpoint. So they have killed 100% of their penalties against. But that could change because Buffalo's power play can be lethal. But mainly focus on the full line stacks here from Buffalo personally is where I'm looking at if I'm going to Buffalo in this one. I'm going right back to the Tampa well here. I've been on Tampa all year. Going to continue to do that. They're in the 7 total here at home against Toronto. Toronto's been okay defensively, but Tampa has the best offensive scoring in the league. I mean, they're averaging right around 4 goals per game. Expected goals for is up there. They draw the second most high danger chances in the league at 16.5. So I love the top line personally here for Tampa. Nikita Kucherov, had him as a core play last game. He went nuclear, dropped 33 points. He's got a $100 price increase after coming off 33 points here, averaging 4 shots per game. Love this top line. Braden Point had a stinker there, but I think you can go right back to him. Victor Hedman, you can play this guy each and every slate, 6,100 as a D-man, top line, top power play. I think he's fine as well. Steven Stamkos has came back after he was out against Buffalo there. Had 7 shots on net last game here. Love him at just 7,700, second line, top power play for him. Brandon Hagel continues to be pretty consistent all year long, 5,300 for him. Second line state next to Stamkos and Cirelli. So Tampa line 1 and 2, top power play is where I'm focusing on. Is Alex Bear-Bulak guy, 3,500, going to skate on that top line next to Kucherov and Braden Point. Doesn't play a ton of minutes, not very active, but if you do need a value guy, you can throw him in there. Definitely not one of my favorites, but I like the big dogs here for Tampa in this spot. Again, best scoring offense in the league thus far this season. And looking at Toronto gives up the 5th most shots per game. Again, their expected goals for is the 6th worst in the league and give up a lot of high danger chances, 5th most in the league, high danger chances, and Tampa takes the 2nd most. So this is just a bet on a 7 total, Tampa being at home as the dog. I think Tampa wins the game outright. So definitely my favorite dog on the slate personally here is Tampa, and I expect to see some goals out of them here. Couple more stacks looking at. Obviously, there's 26 stacks you could choose from on this slate. I'm going to give you my 6th favorite here. Again, my final thoughts and stuff will be up at SHIPITNation.com. If you guys are not a member yet, head over to SHIPITNation.com. Use code NBA10, get you 10% off for life, whatever package you choose. I think it brings the monthly package down to like $62 and some change there off of $69. And then the yearly package brings it down a little bit as well. So SHIPITNation.com gets you in access to all of our sports. NBA starting next week. No better time to join than now. We have all the best projections, tools, content in the industry, bar none, at the cheapest price. So absolutely love the value you get over here. And our Discord is unmatched. No tilting in there. Absolutely electric members helping members, including D-Dry, the latest millionaire winner for the main slate last week. Shipped the Millie there pretty handily. And he's in the Discord all the time talking through his process and stuff. Very nice dude there. So head over, check us out, SHIPNation.com. My 5th favorite stack on the slate, I'm going into that Dallas and Philly game. Dallas at home here. I think Dallas can handle Philly pretty good. Philly's coming off a big win there, obviously last game. I expect them to kind of lay down here. Dallas has owned them in the past. They've won the last 6 games against Philly. And Dallas, I mean, looking at Dallas, 11th best offense in the league to start the season. Philly allowing over 4 goals per game, 2nd worst defense in the league all year long. Expected goals is there as well. They give up the most high danger chances against as well. So I love Dallas here. Top line's my main focus. Rupia Hintz, Joe Pavelski, Jason Robertson. Price points are pretty reasonably priced on him. Jason Robertson, Robocopter, has absolutely owned Philly in his past, 7,800. We were paying $10K for this guy at one point last season, 8,600, 9K. He's down to 7,800, sub 8K. He's one of my favorite plays in the whole slate. So I love Jason Robertson here at home. Going to play 17 to 19 minutes and gets a pretty good matchup here against Philly. So love that top line. Rupia Hintz, again, good success. We were paying over 9K for this guy last year for a while as well. Joe Pavelski, 6,400, that full line. They all correlate on the power play as well. So I love Dallas 1 here. Love Dallas 1 top power play as well. Joe Pavelski, 6,400. He's had great success against Philly in the past as well. And then Miro Heiskanen, one of the best D-men in the league. I always get slept on. He's 5,700, kind of that mid-tier, right in that no man's land, between that kind of 3 and that 6K range. Falls in that 5,700 range, the 5K range. I like him quite a bit. Coming off a big game last game against Anaheim where he scored, had 2 assists, 23 minutes on the ice. He averages over 25 minutes so far in his last 5. Love him here. And then I think you can go to some of these depth guys as well. The Tyler Seguin's, 4,500 for him. Not the worst play there. Evgeny Dadonov at that third line with Wyatt Johnston and Jamie Benn. I think that line is definitely sneaky, that Dallas third line, as a value stack. If you're looking for value, Wyatt Johnston, Jamie Benn, and Evgeny Dadonov, I think is a nice line stack. I like playing third liners more at home. I expect Dallas to score a lot of goals here. They scored 4 last game against Philly, 5 the game before that, 5 the game before that. So I expect another 4 or 5 goals here. And if you can get a goal or 2 out of that third line for Dallas, you're definitely sitting pretty. But Dallas 1, definitely my preferred. And then I would skip Dallas 2 and go to Dallas 3 if I was looking for value plays in this one. Do like Dallas quite a bit in this spot. Last game I'm going to talk about the Avs. The Avs got the job done for our guy Tito, who's newly in the NHL streets. Hopefully, Tito, you're watching this video. I don't know with the full MMA card if you're going to be in the NHL streets on a Saturday here, but I like you. I like the Avs. I think you can go right back to the Avs here. They are playing Carolina. Carolina was a very good defensive hockey team last year, but hasn't been the case to start this season. So far, they are allowing the most goals per game in the league. Gave up 7 goals last game to Seattle, 3 goals to San Jose, who's terrible. Gave up 6 goals to Anaheim and 3 goals to Ottawa. That averages out to over 4 goals per game on the season. They allow the second most high danger chances in the league. Their penalty kills sitting right around 74%. They allow the second most shots against in the league as well. Give me Colorado here at home. It is only 6 total. They are minus 140 favorites here. I love going right back to the well here on Colorado. I think Colorado punches them in the mouth. When Colorado is healthy, man, they are very, very lethal. We saw it to start the year this year, and I think we continue to see it. Colorado, obviously 4-0 to start the year. I think they make it 5-0 here. The issue, Colorado wasn't there at the end last year, is because all the injuries they faced. But when this team is healthy, it's hard to compete. Nathan McKinnon, I mean, this guy's shot floor is just incredible. 9,700. He is expensive, but the guy's averaged over 7 shots per game on the year. 6 shots last game, 3 this game before that, 14, and then 4 the game before that. So a little bit outlier there with the 14 shot on net, but he's got incredible upside. Love him. Arturi Lehkonen is definitely one of my favorite plays. 5,600 top power play. Sub 6K for him. Love him. Second line skating with Nichushkin and Johansson, but gets that top power play correlation. So love him. Mikko Rantanen corded that guy last game. He put up 25 DraftKings points. Think he can go right back to the well there. 8,200 for him. Cale Makar continues to be one of the best D-men each and every slate. Don't love his price point at 7,800. I think I like Roman Josi more up at the price point in the matchup here tonight, but you can never go wrong with Cale Makar. And then Valeri Nichushkin, 5,200, second line, second power play. Little Lehkonen, Nichushkin, and Ryan Johansson stack you could definitely get away with. A little bit cheaper Colorado stack than that top line. Think all makes sense. But top line, definitely my preferred with Drouin, Rantanen, and McKinnon. Drouin definitely makes that stack a little bit cheaper here. And I like the Avs in this one quite a bit. I think they stick it to Carolina here. They've won the last 2, 4 goals and 3 goals in their last 2 games. And beat this Carolina team 4-1 last season at home. Think we see another similar game, 4-1, 5-1, 5-2, something like that is how I'm seeing this one. So I like Colorado quite a bit. Obviously, there's plenty other stacks on the slate. You can definitely message me in the Discord if you're looking at something else. There's so many. I don't want to go on here and tell you to play each and every one. There's other spots that I did miss off in terms of projections. Obviously, Minnesota is going to get a lot of ownership on this slate here against Columbus. But Columbus has actually been pretty good on the year in terms of goals allowed. Obviously, Columbus is on a back-to-back with travel here. Minnesota is at home. Very, very good hockey team at home. So Minnesota is going to get ownership because they are a massive favorite. I'm going to be a little bit underweight on Minnesota. I get the reason for going to them. Projections love them. Our projections love them. Running the optimizer, I'm getting a ton of Minnesota stacks overall. So definitely keep an eye on them. And then Nashville is another team I want to throw out. Nashville, our projection model likes Nashville quite a bit. I expect them to get a little bit of ownership here as well. Saros is pretty cheap in net. I'm going to talk about him here in a second once I go to goalies. But those are two teams our projection model are high on. Is Minnesota, who's going to be pretty chalky on the slate, probably one of the chalkiest teams. Like I said, I'm going to be a little bit under on them, but Columbus is on a back-to-back with travel, so I get the reasoning for them. And then Nashville against the Sharks. Sharks are 0-4 to start the year here. Nashville, pretty good spot for them. So I like Nashville as well a little bit. Talking on some goalies, my top goalie on this plate, I talked about, like I said, I talked about Colorado already. It's going to be Alexander Georgiev there for Colorado. I love the spot for them. I think Colorado sticks it to Carolina. He's been good to start the year. Obviously, he's 4-0. I think he continues. Last game, he had 40 save shutout against Carolina. Don't expect the same there, but I expect to see 30-plus saves here and a win for Alexander Georgiev at just 8K. Like him quite a bit as my favorite spend-up goalie on this slate. Second favorite goalie on the slate is, I already talked about it. I'm going to Juuse Saros here. He's 8,100, a little bit more expensive. He's had great success against San Jose. And San Jose, one thing they have been doing is shooting the puck. They're the number one team in the league in shots for on the year. That leads to saves, and that's what you're looking for from goalie. So at 8,100, Juuse Saros, I like Nashville to win the game as well. If he can get that 35 save at bonus and a win, you're sitting pretty. And that's probably what you need at his price point. But I think it's definitely in the realm of possibilities here because San Jose has been firing the puck a lot on that, which I like to see. So like Juuse Saros. One of my favorite cheaper goalies is actually going to be Eric Comrie. I talked about Buffalo. I like Buffalo offense quite a bit in this game. Comrie's been pretty good. Last game against last season, he obviously played Montreal, ended the season last year pretty good. I think he comes back here. He's got a very good projection, 7,600, nice price point. Again, I talk about Buffalo, liking them quite a bit here. I like Eric Comrie a lot at 7,600 as a mid-tier goalie. Definitely my favorite kind of mid-tier, cheaper goalie on this slate. One of my other goalies I'm looking at here is Igor Shesterkin. He is on the road in Seattle, obviously coming off that nasty game against Nashville at home. Gave up 4 goals, only saved 14 shots, only seen 18 shots. But I think he bounces back here. He is just 7,700. I'm a believer in Igor. Always has been a pretty solid goalie overall. And just 7,700 for him, I think, is a nice price point. Like him to bounce back. So I like him. And then my punt goalie on the night is Cam Talbot. 7,400 at home against Boston. And everyone's probably going to say, why are you playing a goalie against Boston? But, man, Boston just is not the same team to start the year. I get it, right? They're 3-0, but they just been winning like gross games. And I think the Kings at home here can slow them down and win this. I think the Kings are a very good hockey team. They've shown a lot more ability to score this season. A lot of that has to do with their opponents. But they played in Minnesota, they played Winnipeg, and they played Colorado. Gave up 5 goals to Colorado, only gave up 1 goal there to Winnipeg, and only 3 goals there against Minnesota at home against Minnesota. So I like Cam Talbot at just 7,400 here. I think the Kings can win this game and give Boston their first loss of the year. And yeah, that's where I'm looking at goalie. Again, it's just more of a value play for me, 7,400 if you need the salary savings. Talking some of my favorite value plays on the slate here. Looking at the center position, I already talked about this guy. My top value for me is going to be Casey Middlestat for Buffalo. I just think he's a great value. Get some power play time as well. I like Buffalo to win the game. So I like him at 3,400. My second one, William Karlsson. This guy continues to be under 4K. Now gets a matchup in Chicago with power play time. Going to see 15 to probably 17 minutes, averaging right around 2 shots per game, 3,700 for him with power play time. I like him. Think he's a good value play. Ross Colton For Colorado, I talked about liking Colorado here. Colorado at home, third liner. He gets power play time as well. He's just 3K, averaging right around 2 shots per game. Doesn't see a ton of minutes. Going to probably play 13 to 14, 15 minutes, somewhere in that range, maybe a little bit more being at home here. But Ross Colton getting power play time. I like him quite a bit as a value option. Another one, Tommy Novak. I talked about Nashville in this one. I like Nashville a little bit here. Tommy Novak at home against San Jose, third line, but he's getting top power play time. Going to see probably 13 to 16 minutes, somewhere in that range, averaging over 2 shots per net. But he's on that top power play, which centering that top power play with Roman Josi, Phil Forsberg, those guys, definitely can lead you into some points, which you're looking at. And at 3,800, I think you can definitely do worse than him. I like Tommy Novak a lot. And then my other value center option is Anthony Cirelli. Talked about Tampa. I like Tampa a decent amount against Toronto. It is a 7-goal total. Cirelli in his last 2 games against Toronto had an assist or 2 assists and a goal. 20 points, 19 points in his last 2. He's just 4K. Again, second line, second power play. Going to see over 18 minutes, probably 18, 19, 20 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark for Cirelli. So that's my 5th favorite value guy. Looking at some wings, my first winger, I'm looking at Marcus Johansson. I like his value play, 3,800, second line, top power play for Minnesota, skate next to Eriksson Ek. Doesn't shoot a ton, but he's getting top power play time, averaging over 3 penalty minutes per game on the power play. And at sub 4K, you can't ask for much more. Minutes lead to opportunities. So that's one interesting spot there. One super cheap guy, Noah Grigor for Toronto, 4th liner. But this man has averaged over 3 shots per game to start the year. Going to play probably 10 to 12, 13 minutes. Not a ton of ice time, but when he's on the ice, he's definitely firing the puck. And has a decent success last game against Tampa, 4 shots on net. So I think he's definitely interesting at just 2,600. Don't need much for him to pay off. 15, 7, 2, and 6 in his last 4 DraftKings scoring. So like Noah Grigor, a decent amount if you need a super punt. Another cheap guy, Trent Frederick, 2,600 as well. This guy's been actually better. Going to play a little bit more than Noah Grigor here. Third liner against the Kings. 14 minutes in his first game, 14. So he's played 14 in each of the games. Last game, he had 5 shots on that, 2 the game before that, and 3 with a goal to start the year off. Had an assist last game as well. So I think he's fine, averaging over 2 shots per game at just 2,600 for Boston. I think Trent Frederick makes some sense. Another guy I'm looking at is a value winger, Gustav Nyquist for Nashville, going right back to Nashville here. He also correlates with Tommy Novak on that top power play. Full line strength, he is second liner. Going to see 15 to 17 minutes. He gets a pretty good matchup here at just 3,300, again, on that top power play as well. And did have a goal last game against San Jose as well, so take that for what it's worth. Gustav Nyquist. Probably my favorite value winger of all the ones I mentioned so far at just 3,300. And then my last guy, I have to continue bringing this guy up. Blake Wheeler, 3K flat. I mean, 2 shots on goal, 4 shots on goal, a shot on goal, 2 shots on goal. This guy's going to score, and there's no better spot for him to score than against a team that he's crushed in his career. Had a goal last time against Seattle. Game before that, he had a goal. Game before that, he had a goal. He had a goal game before that. So in his last 4 games, he's had at least 1 goal in each game here. He's just 3K flat for New York. Blake Wheeler on that third line, going to see 13 to 15 minutes. This is just bet on past performance and a bet on talent. I get it. He hasn't been great to start the season, but he is still shooting the puck. He is still getting the ice time. I think at 3K flat at no ownership, you could definitely do worse than Blake Wheeler. Looking at the D-man, first D-man, value D-man is Martin Fehervary for Washington. 3K flat, second line, going to play over 20 minutes. This guy is going to block shots. That's what you're looking for. Probably going to get that shot block bonus. He has 3 blocks in both of his last 2 games, 18 minutes, 19 minutes, with a shot and goal in each of those. So 3K flat, I like him. Another guy for Seattle I'm looking at is Adam Larson. I like this guy. He is 3,800, a little bit more expensive, but he's going to play over 23 minutes. Going to block shots. Has pretty good success against New York as well. So 3,800, I think Adam Larson is fine. Another guy looking at D-men here. Hold on, let me just pull him up. Mario Ferraro for San Jose. 3,300. This guy plays 22 to 24 minutes. Going to block shots as well. 10, 8, 10, and 15 in his first 4 games to start the year in all 4 losses. Top line, does get second power play time and has good success against Nashville as well. So Mario Ferraro at 3,300, I think, is a very nice D-man spot, D-man value play on this slate. Another fourth one I'm looking at, TJ Brody for Toronto. Again, it's in that 7 total there against Tampa on the road. Top line D-man. Going to play 21 to 23 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark. 3,300. He hasn't scored under 8 DraftKings points to start the year. And at 3,300, if he gets you 8 to 10, you're sitting pretty good as a D-man spot there. 10 in his first game, 14 in his third game, 11 last game with 6 blocks, 7 blocks. And 3 blocks. So he's definitely going to get blocks in this game as well because Tampa's going to shoot the puck. So TJ Brody at 3,300. I think you can also run him in a Tampa stack. So if you're stacking Tampa, I think it makes some sense as well to throw TJ Brody in there because if those Tampa shots, you're not getting shots on goal there and he's blocking them, at least you're getting blocked points there as well in that same stack. So a little bit of correlation there. TJ Brody. And then my last guy, I already talked about him when I talked about Edmonton. Matthias Ekholm at his price point, I think just makes some sense. Little offensive-minded guy there. He shoots the puck when he's on the ice. And if he scores a goal, you're sitting pretty good at 3,400. Also get some power play time as well. So that's kind of where I'm looking at this 13-game slate. Obviously, there's a ton of people on this slate, ton of teams, ton of stacks, ton of guys, skaters, and D-men, goalies that you can go to. That's kind of where I'm looking to start the year or start the day personally. Again, my slate plan, content, core plays, our matchup sheets already updated and on the site that gets you through basically everything, a one-stop shop on looking at matchups and where to play, where to target teams with our slate info where it talks through Vegas lines, the team totals, everything like that. But that's going to do it for the Saturday edition of the NHL Quick Hit. Again, SHIPITNation.com. Use promo code NBA10. Get you 10% off to any of our packages up there. Hopefully your MMA slate's going good. We'll be back. I'll be back next week for more NHL breakdowns, but we do have NFL main slate tomorrow. Good luck in your contest tonight in the NHL streets. Hopefully we see those Ship It Nation logos at the top. But I'm Nades. I'm going to get on out of here. Good luck today. We'll catch you guys next time. Let's ship it.